Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Suyan Malhadas, and I'm a space law and policies researcher from the Catholic University of Santos in Brazil, and a member of the Moon Village Association. Today, I will present to the audience of the 7th RELACA meeting the Benefit Sharing Project, an initiative of the Moon Village Association that I have the honor to co-chair together with Chris Bosquillon, who is in the new space private sector and an independent researcher in space law and governance, currently based in Greece, and also a member of the Moon Village Association. I will share my screen with you. And this presentation is an up-to-date report on the progress of the Benefit Sharing Project, which is in the process of being launched as we speak. The project team is currently being formed as a task force of contributors and reviewers to address the sharing of benefits from lunar activities. But what is the Benefit Sharing Project? What are we talking about? It is a global platform to promote the socio-economic sustainability of lunar activities. It is a part of the mission of the Moon Village Association and is conducted by the Adaptive Governance Working Group in the Moon Village. And why share benefits in the first place? Well, we're all facing the beginning of a new space era where exciting new possibilities arise with the increasing number of lunar missions and the expected long-term human presence on the moon. For the economic attractiveness of missions, there's a need to build an enabling environment for governmental and non-governmental activities where cooperation and coordination are key elements. And among the guiding lines for lunar activities is the common interest principle that we find in Article 1 of the Outer Space Treaty, and according to which the use and exploration of outer space and celestial bodies shall be carried out for the benefit and in the interest of all countries, irrespective of their degree of economic development or scientific development, and shall be the province of all mankind. So, bearing that principle in mind, building mechanisms for the equitable sharing of benefits is a path to advance in the use and exploration of the moon, without disregarding that the interests of all humanity need to be contemplated, but also encouraging the development of space activities by those who already have the capabilities for them. And the benefit sharing is expressly referred to in the Moon Agreement and has also been recognized as a shared value in relevant governance instruments, such as the Hague Building Blocks, the Moon Village Best Practices, the Eagle Report by the Space Generation. However, the international community has not yet defined specific tools for operationalizing such a benefit sharing regime by providing actionable items among all stakeholders. And that is why we are conducting this project. And this is a collaborative project by a diverse crowd from different regions and backgrounds, looking at the question of benefit sharing from all angles. So, like Jackson Pollock's art, we are starting with a white canvas and letting creativity flow from multiple angles in this team effort. Our first objective here is to look into the context in which lunar activities will evolve and assess possibilities for two major inclusiveness factors. First, making sure that not only dominant space powers are part of moon activities. And second, assuring that all members of the global society have access to the benefits of those activities. The goal of the Benefit Sharing Project is to propose concrete mechanisms for equitable sharing of benefits related to lunar activities, encompassing economic, environmental, and social concerns. Some guiding elements to this effort are that, in the first place, to consider benefits to be shared, we need to have built a process that actually creates some sort of value that may be shared. The process has to allow the involvement of relevant stakeholders and define and clarify priority and rightful collective appropriation mechanisms rather than fixing a wrongful appropriation process. It has to have focus on means of inclusion in the emerging space economy, for example, industrial value chains. And besides, acknowledge that space treaties are adaptive to operationalize their application in order to tackle new challenges that arise. Hence, there's a need to legally articulate benefit sharing mechanism to get along operationally. And who are the customers of the benefit sharing project? We understand that they may be defined along three rings. First, the UN ecosystem, for example, the Space for Sustainable Development Goals agenda and the work of the legal subcommittee of COPUS, with elements for future international frameworks for lunar and space resource activities. The second ring, which we devise, is the ecosystem of NGOs and civil society, where we can contribute to a creative process of problem solving. And the third ring is made of space activities operators and stakeholders who may implement recommendations, test their relevance and effectiveness, and feedback any adjustments. We believe that nothing really happens in space unless we, as a humanity, achieve to build a sustainable society and economy around the use of space resources, while trying not to repeat the errors that we made on Earth. And the question that drives us while building the team is, what is the point of discussing lunar activities benefit sharing if we do not reflect our own attempt at bridging the 3Gs gaps, meaning generation, gender, and geography? Well, it turns out that I live and operate out of Latin America, while my co-chair Chris lived and operated in the Indo-Pacific for the last decades. And we both have a strong interest in the continent of Africa. Our previous backgrounds in international labor law, non-space industry and investment, digital transformation, and data economy made us well aware of structural inequalities that persist around the world. So when building the team to address the sharing of benefits of lunar activities in the interest of all humankind, we try to focus on bringing more women to the table, assuring regional diversity, and also including the younger generations to fix such gaps from the beginning. So, for example, my 13-year-old daughter, Pietra, will be joining this effort, as well as some of her friends, to share the views of a very young generation that is willing to build a better future with their eyes in space. And that is definitely an exciting opportunity for us to make things different.
So as my mom said, they're really looking forward to getting lots of different point of views. And I think that's what makes this project so important, because sometimes this type of things don't give enough voice or recognition to some people who could add lots of things to the world and as the society. And I'm really excited to be part of this project, because I think that is really, and I'm really happy that they are giving voice to my generation, because we are the one who can continue to change the world.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. So now, on the issue of what kind of deliverables we intend to produce, that's a decision to be made collectively during the project. The deliverables need to be calibrated toward the bandwidth of stakeholders that we described as our customer, with respect to their scope of activities. And we might want some of the guiding lines that we might want to focus are a language of operationalization that is actionable in the context of the Space for Sustainable Development Goals agenda and the COPUS, And we're also inclined toward maximizing the operationalization of what already exists in the Outer Space Treaty and the conventions, rather than creating a new body of laws and regulations. But most importantly, to seed a creative and inclusive work process, everyone is encouraged and welcome to pitch in with advice and opinion. And finally, our paper shares some of the ideas we consider for the development of the project, like benefit sharing through inclusion in international value chains, encompassing activities on Earth, such as mining, agri-food, health, and also inclusiveness programs for access of handicapped persons to space and benefit sharing in that area, and many other topics which we invite you to read in our paper. So in conclusion, this is an up-to-date progress report of the state of our lunar activities benefit sharing project, which we are in the process of launching as part of the Moon Village Association Adaptive Governance aims. I've presented that the goal of this team effort is to develop concrete mechanisms that will operationalize the sharing of benefits from lunar use and exploration among all countries and society as a whole, addressing and contributing to the social dimension of sustainability. We build a team bridging the three gaps of geography, gender, and generation. We intend to bring ideas and areas to explore through collective intelligence and creativity, and we introduce structure as we go. And although the validation of frameworks strongly depends on the timeline of space resource utilization and the ability to develop substantive and shareable value in lunar activities, our collective effort starts now. I thank you for your attention and welcome your impressions and your feedback and your input to this team effort which I've presented here today. Thank you.